The rules around these things, as far as when you actually do have a positive, a confirmed person, the loan just gets denied. It doesn't follow all the same guidelines as far as you don't issue the denial letter of, well, because OFAC. You tell them, you can tell them, like, listen.
That's not a denial reason?
No.
Because you're kind of a terrorist?
Because terrorism. But that is one of those things that would be disclosed to the borrower and say, you're on the OFAC list. Right. We cannot lend to you. Right. Now, there are steps that the borrower can say, they can dispute this, right? But they dispute it with the government. They don't dispute it with you.
This isn't for you to maintain a long conversation and
No, you pass them off, and you know, if you want to get familiar with the resources available to them in those cases, I urge you to do so. I think that's good information to have, but it's not your job. Right. And it's knowing when to step back and also knowing, like, there is a difference between having a confirmed OFAC and filing a SAR. Like a SAR, you don't tell people, but a confirmed OFAC, you tell them. Okay. This is what happened. Now, if you're not comfortable, that's on you. Right. But you can disclose that information.
Okay. That's good to know.
And, back to the point of training and what do I need? If you don't know, contact your state regulator, because they'll tell you. They'll tell you exactly what you need for your specific situation to avoid, having regulatory, implement. What is the word I'm looking for here, Ken? What is the word?
Procedures, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Requirements. The thing is, your company's got to already know this. So, like, when people come to us and say, what kind of training do I need? There's a lot we can do, and then there's a lot we can't. So look to your company to train you on exactly what to do at that moment. With that, when you do get a positive hit or when you get something that's vague, we can tell you our side and what the federal government says, and then you've got to go with what your company says after that.
Absolutely.
So there's other exclusionary lists that you were talking about.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's a long, these are the main ones that you're going to come across. The GSA, EPA, LDP, and SCP. Read it down. Get familiar with it. Right. They apply to different situations. So that based on the type of loan that you're doing, conventional and government have different requirements. And I think even Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, through their own websites. So that list is from Fannie Mae, but Freddie Mac has their own internal that you can log in and search people. And these are people who have Fannie and Freddie have determined we're not doing business with for one reason or another, and likely fraud and costing them money. They don't want to do business with that. And the people who are going to be on that list, all of these, everybody associated with these transactions, borrowers, sellers, originators, the company, processor, agents of settlement and real estate, appraiser and company, everybody. And you have to when I was processing and underwriting, you get this long list of names, and attached to this is usually a screenshot, a screen print showing clear with the names. And again, use the middle names when you find hits. Same thing with, searching OFAC. If you find somebody, so like let's say I typed in First American Title, you'll find those on these lists sometimes because some First American Title out there messed up. That doesn't mean all First American. They're a great company. Right. So you need to type in the address. You need to go a little bit deeper to say, no, not us. This is good. Yeah. They're bad. This is great. So we're good to go. And underwriters are looking for it. If they're not then closing, is because it affects the sellability of the loan. Fannie and Freddie won't purchase these. FHA won't insure it. VA certainly won't either. And you're going to be stuck with it.
Let's finish with a little common sense. So not only are there lists, but you also have your own internal meter when you're talking to somebody and you're like, this doesn't feel right. And when I was an account executive, I met with this loan officer who wanted to send me a bunch of business. We went to this pizza place. I'll never forget this conversation.
Is it Pietro's?
And he's asking me about my family and we're kind of doing that basic bonding, but he's getting some information about me that I'm kind of uncomfortable because we just met and why are you going down this road? And so he's like, we're going to send you a lot of business. And I'm like, great. So I apparently passed the test. And he goes, but here's the deal. My name should never be mentioned by you to anybody. And I'm like,
red flag.
What?
Hi.
He's like, you keep my name out your mouth. And I'm like, wait, what? And he literally said, do not tell anybody you met with me. Don't tell your company about me. You're not allowed to use my name. We're going to use my processor will be on all the documentation, everything. And I was like, it doesn't take much to be like, this is weird and I should research this. And so I immediately called my boss and said, unfortunately, I didn't follow his orders. I called my boss. I'm like, I just met with this guy and I said the name. And she goes, oh, yeah, that guy got kicked out of the business. He's a complete fraud. he had set up all these multiple bank accounts to basically run all this wire fraud and money laundering. And so he was still in the business, but he was running through a different person's name. So just because we say run your borrowers through OFAC, you should also keep your eyes open and figure out if there's somebody behind the borrower, because we have these straw man borrowers where somebody's running like 12 borrowers through, their name isn't on it, but they bring you 12 loans, which is exciting for a loan officer to get. They're like, 12 loans right now? Sweet.
Right.
But what you have to do is further digging and going, why did I get 12 loans? Do your own research and use your common sense so that we can keep the industry clean and keep some of these people who should be excluded from the industry out of the industry forever. And that's all I have to say about that. So watch your lists, pay attention to it, and know that you need to do a little bit more research sometimes.